So like I was going to do this fall after I got my root cellar all cleaned up and painted up and spiffed and remodeled and did a bunch of stuff to it. But since Mrs. New America Now is thinking about digging a root cellar by herself, I thought maybe I'd do a response to her video. So I'm going to take you around and show you my root cellar, such as it is, and a couple of the neighbors, and maybe we can get some tips together. So here we go. Here's my root cellar. It's right outside the back door. Let's freeze it. It's springtime. It's been raining. Everything's a mess. Give me a break. I guess I better paint that barbecue. Notice I don't have any dirt on top of my root cellar. It's got some insulation inside, and I think I'm going to at least double that. But it has a big flat concrete top. We use it for a patio. Okay, so into the blackness we go. Watch out for the spiders. Notice that I'm having some trouble with the walls. Kind of have some cracks and a little bowing going on. There's tremendous pressure on the walls of a root cellar. Mine has a concrete floor. It's wet right now because it's been raining. Sorry for the shaky camera. I tried to whitewash it once. And I've stored some stuff in here before, and it works out pretty well. It has a styrofoam insulation on the ceiling, but I want to add some more and put some on the walls at least part way down. And I need a vent. I don't know if you can see this, but the wall is actually bowing about an inch. Not good. I may have to put some structural steel in there eventually, or rebuild the wall. It's got a floor drain over here in the corner, but it has a clay tile that goes out of it, and it's plugged. The stairs have some brick in them. They were originally made with brick and then covered with concrete. That's part of the problem with the whole root cellar. It's just right outside the back door of the house, which makes it a little inconvenient. What do you know, it's tomorrow. What I mean by that inconvenience thing is it's right outside the back door, which is actually the living room instead of the kitchen. And it'd be nice to have some kind of a landing before you actually go into the root cellar. Anyhow, the thing is, water gets in outside the walls of a root cellar or even a basement, and as it freezes and thaws, it can put thousands and thousands of pounds of pressure on a wall of a root cellar or a basement. That's why I don't think earth bags would work very well. This is my neighbor Wayne's root cellar. It's got earth on top of it. Notice it has a vent. I don't think they still use it, but he's got his well pump in there. I bet it doesn't freeze. Notice it has a barrel vaulted ceiling, which is kind of unique, and the concrete's in really good shape. After I left Wayne's house, I went over to my neighbor Billy's house. His root cellar's way up out of the ground. Got a little retaining wall around it. Less digging, I suppose. And this really cool entrance house. You go down the stairs, and there's a door inside, too. I think I'll put one of those on mine. That way I could insulate it a little better and control the temperature. Looks like Billy doesn't use his anymore. He's got a light bulb in there. They say a 100-watt light bulb can warm it up if it starts getting too cold, and that's enough to do the job. Concrete's in pretty good shape on Billy's root cellar as well. Better than mine for sure. It's got some pretty decent shelves in there. You go clear to the back and you can look right up that vent. I think a guy or gal ought to be able to have some way to control that, turn it on and off, though, so that you can control the temperature inside in the wintertime. So anyhow, here's what I've figured out. The pressures on the outside of a root cellar are really tremendous, so it really needs to be made out of concrete. And I wouldn't use any pressure-treated lumber anywhere. Even though the new pressure-treated lumber is supposed to be better, it's still got poisonous chemicals in it, and you don't want to store your food there. I think concrete's probably the only real option. And you might lay a drain tile around the outside as you're building one to let the water drain off somewhere from around the outside and reduce some of that outside pressure. A light bulb inside, as long as we have grid power, would help regulate the temperature. And I think I'm going to put a high and a low vent on mine and put valves of some kind on them so I can regulate the airflow. Anyhow, this is the stuff I've figured out on a root cellar, in my humble opinion. I hope it helps, and if anybody out there has any ideas, let me know. Remember, we'll get through this.